There are 101 women on this call right now, and I'm going to introduce everybody. I'm Debbie Goldich. I'm the International President of Women's League. I'm happy to have you with us. This call came about because our friend Marion Tully told me that she was chair of her gift shop, her Judaica shop, and she was not being able to go into her building and sell her giftware. And so out of that came the discussion that maybe we need to have a call for all of the other chairs of gift shops, Judaica shops, who couldn't get into their synagogues. So Etta Fialco, who is having tech problems, is the international chair of Judaica shops. Many of you know her. You have corresponded with her on the Google group and privately, and you've spoken to her. I know that she's really disappointed, but she's going to try to continue to work with our woman in the office to try to get on the call. In the meantime, we have some great people on who are also co-leading and co-hosting this session. And I'd like to introduce them now. First, we have Doreen Karasik. Doreen, you want to spotlight yourself, or can I do that? You're co-host, so you can do that.
Here I am. Okay. There I am.
There's Doreen. And Doreen is going to help us with the virtual part of it. And this is Jill Tomar. Jill is International Individual Membership Chair, but she has multitasks, and she has a lot of talents, and she's here to help us with the chat and the Zoom. And then there are some other people on that I know are not officially here to help, but they are Judaica shop chairs, and they will also be pitching in. So I'm Doreen and Jill. I'm going to let you take over, and I'm here.
My job is going to be, I'm going to be monitoring the chat. So if everybody can put their questions in the chat, so we don't have, and we can go about them after Doreen does her presentation, and then we can go into a general discussion if need be. But if you could put your questions as Doreen is doing her presentation in the chat, I will be monitoring them so that we can get everybody's questions answered.
And when we ask you to speak, please remember to unmute yourself and then mute yourself again. It just makes it nicer for everyone if everybody's muted. Thank you. Doreen, you're on.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Debbie. And thank you, Jill, for helping with the questions in that part of this. I have prepared a presentation that I think it might be best if I go through it and then you develop your questions as I go through it. I didn't want to overwhelm everyone. For those of you who are not online, which will probably be the majority of you, it may seem like a daunting task. But if you break it down into what needs to be done and the questions you have to ask yourselves about what your goals are for your shop, I think that will make it easier. Honestly, in the past 8 months, all of our goals have changed. For us, and I imagine for most of you, if not all of you, we were closed in March and we could not enter the shop until, I guess, about June. So whether we were online or not, we were not able to access our shop. Our synagogue was closed. For all intents and purposes, our synagogue is still closed. However, it's moderately open. We have a preschool that is running, and we have changed, because these guidelines change all the time, but we are permitted to have someone in the shop. We are not open for business in that sense. We don't have customers coming in the shop, and that's mostly because we have the children, the young children there during the day. But we are now able to see people by appointment. But it's not business as usual. So I think that's what's probably driving this meeting tonight, is that none of us are doing business as usual. So how can we adapt to the situation that we're in? So I will give you, as I said, my presentation, and I would love to hear questions, because there's nothing I like more than to share what I know. And I've learned things along the way. So don't think I started out quite like this. I did not. So the big question is, how do I begin? You need to know, are your congregants going to be your only customers? We actually had no idea that our online presence would grow to the point that we do business nationally, not internationally, but nationally. And that can happen in a number of ways. But I think the size of your website, the scope of your website will depend on the answer to these questions. So will the customers only be your congregants? Do you want to broaden your scope to include customers who can access your site? That again opens this up to anyone who can access through the internet. You need to determine your budget. Not an easy thing to do, and I can give you some raw numbers, but what we decided to do was to integrate the gift shop's website as part of the synagogue's website. I was very fortunate because I helped to create our synagogue's website. So I was very familiar with the inner workings of it and with the web designer with whom we worked. You can do that too, but you need to determine your budget. And I will tell you, to get a professional to help you, and I'll tell you that there are other ways, but to get a professional to help you would probably be in the $1,000 to $1,100 range. Now that's from soup to nuts. That's somebody who creates the whole framework for your website, who teaches you how to run your website, because it's really important that it is user-friendly, not only for your customer, but even more importantly for you. So you have to determine your budget, and that will drive how you actually do this. So that takes the next step here, and that there are many platforms available. Platforms really are the technological way that you put your site on the internet. And the question that I had just spoke about was, will you be part of your synagogue's website? Excuse me. I think that makes the most sense, because people who access your synagogue, and I'll show you what ours looks like, will also see that you have an online gift shop. And they will also be able to use Google as one of our best friends, because that really, people are very savvy shoppers, and I'll get to why that's important and what that means in a minute. So will you be part of your synagogue's website, which is something I would recommend. In that case, you contact the administrator of your synagogue's website, and they can guide you with what kind of a platform you should use to go online. And that would be very helpful, because I certainly knew nothing about retail on the web. I mean, other than being able to shop, and I knew how to do that very well, but I certainly didn't know how to set it up for us. So again, the program should be user-friendly so that you can get into the site, you can add or delete merchandise on your own. You really don't want to pay somebody to be able to do that. Your customers should also have ease of use. And that's really important, because I'm sure that any of you and most of you who have gone online, we've all gotten to a website that is just not easy to navigate. You get frustrated and you're directed in this way and that way. And your customer really has to have ease of use. That will, at the end of the day, make your job much easier. So some suggested platforms for retail sales are WordPress, and WordPress is what we use at Har Zion. There is one called Square Up that I know another synagogue gift shop is using, and yet another one called Big Commerce. And you can actually take a look at what these are by simply Googling those names, and it will give you a sense of what they look like. But I still would strongly, strongly advise having a professional or a very tech-savvy person help you to walk through it. If you are that person, bless you. But with all the experience I had even setting up my synagogue's website with a professional, I needed that help. So that, and by the way, Debbie, I can send this, it's all easy for me to just send what I have written here.
Yes, this recording is going on the Women's League website.
Right.
So everyone will have access to it.
Right. But I think, if this brings up more questions, I can I can send my PowerPoint also.
Very good. Thank you, Doreen.
Okay, so who will maintain your site? This is probably one of the most important pieces, and one of the reasons, and I'm never a naysayer, but I really was before we started this, and even when it was mentioned years ago, who's going to maintain the site? One of the most crucial, whether it's your synagogue's website, whether it's Macy's website, I don't care whose website it is. If that website is not maintained, it doesn't look the way it should. It doesn't look professional. It doesn't look welcoming. And you don't want to keep, merchandise on the site that you don't have. This is really, to me, one of the most important pieces about who will maintain it. Maintenance includes who will set up the website. With me, I was able to set it up myself with the help of the professional, but in other cases, I don't see why it couldn't be more than one person to set it up. Who will take the pictures and record the descriptions. And I'll show you what that looks like as well, because there are different ways that can be done, but they are extremely important pieces, I believe, the pictures and the descriptions of the merchandise. Who will take the orders off of the site and then fill the orders. So you'll get orders in online, and then you have to have, and you certainly can have more than one volunteer. Again, depending on what COVID is driving your synagogue to do. So you'll need at least one person to take the orders off the site when they come in and then fill those orders. And then, of course, if you're shipping items, you will need people to do that. It shouldn't be all one person, although I'm sure all of us have all done the job of 10 people at any given time. Who will monitor the billing? And we'll talk about that in a little bit too, because it depends on, again, what vehicle you're going to use to have people pay for their purchase. Who will monitor the inventory? At Har Zion, at our gift shop, as beautiful and as fabulous as our gift shop is, our inventory in the store is not technically connected to the website. So, and I'm not saying that it can't be. Ours can't be because of the system that we already had in place. Etta had asked me a great question and said, well, did you have to buy different equipment? And did you have to, and we did not. But the system that we were already using for our inventory could not be connected to the system that we were using for our online presence. So I have someone that goes in once a week and runs an inventory list for me. And then I then compare that against what I have on the website, so that I can adjust. My inventory in the store should be what my inventory is on the site. Otherwise, you're going to have people very disappointed when they want to buy something and you no longer have it, and you don't know that you don't have it. Photography. Maybe I think this is more important than other people may believe, and that's fine, but I'm just going to give you my take on that. You have to find out what kind of photos the platform that you use will accept. So when I say kind of photos, it's important for what the pixelation is on the photo. So that means that the picture looks very clear and you're not seeing it out of focus. And also the size of the photo. The size of the photo and the pixelation are really important for the quality that you have. Well, I'll tell you what we did. You can hire a professional photographer or have a synagogue member take the photos. Because we were new to this, and I think we thought this was the best way to go, and it was in one respect, but we did hire a professional photographer. So we had a professional photographer. It took days. And I will tell you, we don't even have everything that's in the shop on the website, but it took days for this professional photographer to take the pictures. I have found out that if you have a member who is great with their iPhone, we all know that the iPhones and the Androids have really stepped up what they're able to do for photography. You can take the pictures yourself. You don't have to hire anybody. So that's something that I learned. I'm not sorry we did it, but it was a lesson learned. And following is the difference in quality. So I'm just going to show you what that looks like. Here is the professional photographer's picture with a white background. I mean, to me, it looks fabulous. It's great. It's a professional looking picture. There's no distraction in the background. It's seamless. This is a picture that was taken with a black background because sometimes there are items, and you'll see why, that look better with a black background. And that happens to be a glass bowl that shows up much better against the black background than it would against the white. Don't let this sound overwhelming. It's not. It really is not. This is a photo that we took before we purchased an item I'm going to tell you about in a minute. But this is a picture that we took. Is it a horrible picture? No. But it's got a mixed background because it was taken on a white table against actually the wall, which was sort of a grayish color. And I think you do lose some of the detail in these magnificent candlesticks. That's my opinion. However, there's something that you can buy, and you can go right on Amazon and do it. It's not expensive. This one is actually a small one, but it's called a white box. It's a photographer's white box. You want one big enough that you can put most of your products in. This one is kind of small. It's $22.99, so you might have to spend $40 or $50 for the box. The box comes with a light, and something I never even knew existed, but photographers know exists. And if you can see there, they place the item inside the box. This one has multiple color backgrounds, so they were able to put the black background, which makes sense because it's a white vase. And you can see that against the black background, that looks, really very, distinct. But again, you can use the white background. So the suggested purchase, if you're going to have anyone in your synagogue or yourself take these pictures, is to purchase this box. It's worth the money. It'll make your pictures look fabulous. You won't see seams, you won't see lines, and it looks the way a professional picture would look. Billing. Are you going to accept payments by credit card? I don't know if any of you, most of you, some of you already accept credit cards in the shop. We already did, and we felt that we wanted to do that on the website. And there are several ways to secure a payment process, and that can be done through your website designer and your bank. And particularly if you are selling, even though our congregants use credit cards frequently, but if you are selling outside of your congregation, you have to have credit cards. I don't think you can depend on any other way. At Har Zion, we also have what we call house accounts. So our congregants can, and many do, have house accounts, and they can charge, even on the website, they can charge to their house account. And then we have one dedicated volunteer who sends out bills. So again, it depends how you operate your shop. You know that much better than I do. So that's the house charge, and that's exactly what I just said. Again, credit card payments are strongly suggested if you go outside of your congregants. I don't think you want to sell to somebody who lives anywhere outside of your area and depend on them sending you a check, especially when you want to get it shipped and out of your shop. But again, it depends on the scope of your business. If you're staying within your congregation, you handle it in whatever way is comfortable for you. We decided to use the credit cards, and again, that it gave us a much broader scope. Shipping or pickup. This is going to depend so much on the state of the world. I mean, I know I'm a member of the listserv for gift shops that Etta so beautifully administers. And I mean, I've seen comments from people that have done business on their backyard deck of their house. We've done business in the parking lot of the synagogue. There's just all different ways to do business these days. So depending on your synagogue's policy, particularly during COVID, find out if people can pick up their purchase at the synagogue. If your synagogue will allow that, you can keep the purchase, let's say, at their front desk, receptionist desk. I don't even know if your synagogues are letting other folks in. If not, you can meet people in the parking lot. By the way, I would only do that with people that you know. I wouldn't suggest parking lot meetups. We're not Craigslist. I don't think it's a good idea. Or you can drop off at their home. We have many people that live in the general area, and we were able to drop off at their homes. So, which is fine. But again, it requires time. It's volunteers. You all know the drill. We use the post office, United States Post Office, for our shipping. We do insure everything that we ship. We charge a flat fee of $15, which does cover most purchases. Sometimes we lose a few dollars and sometimes we gain, but we found that it evens out. It is only if the package is going a great distance and is larger and heavier than, I guess, what you would call a normal package. And that would be, let's say, a 5-pound package and a 12 by 12 box. That will be fine. If you start going larger and heavier, you're going to get larger shipping fees. So that was a choice that we made to do the $15 fee. And we really did that for ease of use, not because we're lazy, just because it was easier for us to have a flat fee. And having done this now for 2 years, I can tell you that it's worked out rather well. We learned a wonderful lesson when a very nice woman in Alaska bought 2 items for us. And we had already committed to the $15 fee and then found out it costs a whole lot more to go from Penn Valley, Pennsylvania to Anchorage, Alaska. A whole lot more. It was actually more than what the merchandise was. So we took a bath on that, but now on our website, we say that outside of the continental United States, please call us for shipping fees. And you can do that too. If you really want to charge people exactly what it costs or make a few dollars, because we call it shipping and handling, because you do have to have boxes, you do have to have packing. It's not just what the post office will charge you. It's everything else that it costs to put together the package. And if you want to do that, you can always run the shipping fee separately. That's fine. It's more work, but it's doable.
Doreen, there's a question. Do you have a minimum order for $15 shipping fee?
No. No.
No minimum order for the $15 shipping fee?
No.
Okay.
Yep. And
actually, there was another question.
Yeah, sure.
You charge an extra service charge to a patron for, I guess for picking it, I guess for just doing this online service. I assume it was Sheila Kaufman who asked that question. I assume that's what she meant. Again, extra service charge for
pick up.
I guess to pick up, yeah, that's what.
No. The service charge is for using a credit card, like Square charges you.
Oh, okay. Oh, is that what you meant? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, you're exactly right that there are charges for using a credit card. Yeah. We do not pass that on to the customer. We do not. They are minimal. Minimal. You have to talk to your bank and get a really good deal.
Yeah.
But it is minimal. So no, we do not charge.
And what about insurance on those packages that you send?
We insure every package that we send.
You insure every package.
It's a couple dollars and it's worth it, especially when we just had a product that got to somebody broken, and the post office, I had the reimbursement within a week. So it doesn't happen often, but it's going to happen. No question about it. And I know people will say that they use UPS or they use FedEx and maybe DHL. There are certainly other ways to send things, but just in all of our time and all of our experience, we've gone back to USPS because we found it is the most cost effective. And this one we already talked about. Can your inventory in the store be tied to the website? So perhaps yours can, ours was not, and it causes us to have that extra step. It is really important, again, for the inventory in your store to be coordinated with the inventory in your shop. Because once you get into this, you become professionals. You become professionals. You're running a business. I mean, we always felt we have, obviously, but this takes it to another level, I believe. And it's been a great experience for us. Again, not to scare anyone, we have approximately 500 items on our site. It was a lofty ambition and a lot of time. Would I suggest that everybody try to get 500 items on their site or even have 500 items to put on their site? No. You certainly can start much smaller. And there's two ways of thinking here. Either you put on your site the things, and you all know the things that are your most popular sellers. So there are two schools of thinking. Put your popular sellers on the website first, and that will draw people to the site, and that may be true. However, another way of looking at it is to put the items on the site that you want to move out. Somehow when they're on the web, they just look different, they look better, and a little bit more appealing. So it might be a way for you to move out some of your merchandise. I know we've been really concerned about moving our merchandise because we don't have the walk-in customers anymore. And I don't know when we're going to get them back. I don't think any of us know that.
There was several comments and questions I think that
Sure.
would be valuable that people made throughout the chat.
I'm ready.
Somebody mentioned the use of Venmo, or I know there's Zelle, which I guess is something to think about that they used.
Let me address that. Let me address Women's League policy on Venmo. Okay.
Okay.
I was waiting, but Venmo can only be used in a personal account. It cannot be used in a synagogue account or a sisterhood checking account or a gift shop account. It can only be used in a personal account. And Women's League does not recommend that a personal sisterhood member use Venmo to do Women's League business, whether it's membership or gift shop, Judaica shop. Women's League does not recommend that at all, because if there is a problem, any kind of a problem where there's money missing or money that doesn't, not in compliance, or there's some difference in the amounts, Women's League will not come to your, how shall I say this? We won't come, we don't recommend it. So therefore we're not suggesting that you do it, because Venmo can only be used by a personal member. And it's not recommended. We recommend that when you set up a bank account for your Judaica shop, you do that in the Judaica shop's name or the synagogue's name, never in a personal member, and never use Venmo. So I don't know who wrote that comment, but if you use Venmo, you probably want to undo that.
Okay, so somebody said that their synagogue uses, I think it was Helene Herman said their synagogue uses Venmo exclusively for payments. So I guess it depends on the state, maybe, I don't know. Okay, there's several other questions and comments that were made. Robin Ginsburg said that their shul, actually, I feel that was a good idea, has a drop-off pickup box outside their front door. So, I mean, I guess it depends. That's right. I think that was a good idea. Somebody, Jean Berman, I think, Bernard asked how many volunteers your shop sisterhood has. I guess that's for you, Doreen.
Yes, not enough. Not enough. We have, just the way our sisterhood is structured, we have three vice presidents of the gift shop. So they will rotate their time in the gift shop. And actually, because of COVID, because of risk, because of life, we only have really one vice president who has been in there. The second one is coming in a little more frequently now. They can't be in there together, by the way. They can only be there by themselves. And then I would say we probably have about 10 other volunteers. 12 other volunteers that rotate.
Okay. Then Susan Moss asked what program you use for your inventory. I know that's been a discussion on several times on the listserv, but I guess she was asking specifically what inventory program you use.
Because, and that's a great question, and I'm happy to answer that by email to the group. I don't have that in front of me. I don't handle that piece of it. I mean, we use a program, there's no question, but I don't have the name of it.
Okay, and then a couple other, I guess, suggestions came out. Someone had mentioned, I think it was Dixie, that pirateship.com has discounted USPS services, and Jody Glass also mentioned PayPal has discounted USPS services. And then Darcy asked, what do you do about returns? I guess that was another question for you, Doreen.
Right. All right. Well, I'll get the last one because my memory being what it is. I remember the last thing you said, but we can go back, Joe.
Okay.
Yes. As far as returns, the way we handle them, as we always have, whether it's an online purchase or an in-person purchase, is that we give store credit.
Okay.
We have that. Now we can back up to.
No, they were just statements people had said they used other avenues.
Other ways, yes. I mean, I have become, again, you know, COVID has probably pushed us all in directions that we never expected. And not that this is a big deal. And maybe I was a little spoiled because we had a synagogue employee who would take care of all of our shipping for us, all of our mailing, all of our shipping. And it was great. So I certainly never had to be involved in it. But since she has not been in the building, I had to learn how to do it. And I did open up an account on USPS.com. And apparently we do get a discount on that site. And I just love it because I just create my own labels, slap it on the box, and I can really leave it, as somebody said, with a drop-off box at the synagogue. We don't have that, but we have a vestibule, and I can just leave the packages there and the mailman will take them. I don't even have to go to the post office.
Okay, and then the next question was, what is the tax liability to the online website? But I guess it has to do with this, each state has their own laws with, I know, taxes. So I don't know what you're in Pennsylvania, so I have no idea what.
We do. We do have a state sales tax. We do, which I imagine a lot of states do. Maybe Delaware doesn't, which is great. At least the one I know of because it's closest to Pennsylvania. But we do have a sales tax, and people who buy from out of state still pay that Pennsylvania sales tax. The only way they would be exempt from paying that sales tax is if we did, and I mean a multitude of business, even if it were New Jersey, which is, you know, a state that is right next to Pennsylvania. Unless we did $100,000 worth of business in New Jersey, would we be exempt, or we could have customers exempt from paying the Pennsylvania sales tax. We're nowhere in that category, and nobody's ever complained. Nobody has ever complained about that. So.
Somebody asked, what percentage of your sales are from non-synagogue members?
I don't have a percentage, but I would say a great deal. If we're just talking about the online sales, I think Debbie's.
I go there all the time.
Thank you, Debbie. But you're everywhere all the time. But we do have a beautiful shop, I will say that. But I would say most of our online sales are not congregants.
Okay, that's good. Somebody asked about the telling, I guess it was Robin Ginsburg mentioned the drop-off pickup box in her synagogue, and somebody asked, can you tell us where you got a drop-off pickup box from? So if Robin can unmute herself and answer that question.
Hi, I'm sorry. This is Robin. It's not a locked box or anything. It's just a box that the synagogue was using for members to drop off and pick up things. It's just like a big Rubbermaid box that's protected. So it's nothing special.
Okay. That answered that person's, I guess it's Suzanne's question. Also, Jody Glass mentioned there's free priority shipping supplies for you on the USPS website for people to be aware of. Somebody else mentioned stamps.com also offers discount pricing, and they pick up packages from your front door. Okay, here's a question for you, Doreen. How do you know how much stock to have on hand, and do you have a lot of space to store your stock?
Okay, how do we know how much stock to have on hand? I can tell you we don't know. Even after doing this for 2 years, we still don't know. I mean, we know what our good sellers are. We know what our popular sellers are. So we will have a few items. Most of our vendors, and again, today things have changed because, and we know these vendors are suffering horribly too. We can't get things in as quickly. It used to be very easy that if we had two of a certain kind of Hanukkah, and a person wanted a third one, we could get that, shipped to us rather quickly. It's not that way anymore. So, and do we have space? We do. We do have space for storage, but we don't carry more than, I would say, at the most, depending on the price of the item, certainly the higher price items, not more than 2 or 3 of that item. And the lesser price items we would carry more of, obviously.
Somebody asked,
How much money we're putting out.
Oh yeah, how does a gift shop get a free priority USPS for mailing?
A free one?
I'm not real sure.
I don't get free any. No, I pay.
I didn't understand that one either. So
okay.
Unless somebody else has an answer to that question, you can unmute yourself and answer that. I don't understand.
You can get free supplies. You don't get.
Yeah, as I said, we said free supplies. Yeah.
Yeah, free supplies for sure.
Yeah, maybe it was a misunderstanding. Okay, it was probably
on the post office website.
Okay. Do you sell any special items that are hard to find? Somebody asked.
I mean, I don't do the buying for the shop. I do the posting and this. I would say we have something. I think we do have very much of a target audience for a lot of our things. So I don't know so much if they're hard to find, but the fact that we discount and we discount from some very well-known, vendors makes us popular to a certain segment of the population. Again, it's great when you're buying wedding gifts and engagement gifts. That business has suffered, where we have actually just gone crazy with the last few weeks are kiddish cups. And that would really only be somewhat funny to anybody that saw the commercial that our membership engagement director filmed about me running around looking for a kiddish cup. But that was a while ago, and it's still funny, but I don't think that's what's driving it. But I think the fact that we are having more B'nai Mitzvah is driving that business. So it ebbs and flows, as you all know, but our business has changed. There's no question about it.
I also would like to say that what you have that's very unusual is you have a lot of baby gifts that are Judaica.
We do.
Wonderful place to find a baby gift, which is unusual.
Yes, we do have quite a bit.
Is there a fee for using WordPress? Somebody asked.
No.
Okay. Marion Tilly asked, how much is your annual sales? If you don't want to answer, that's okay. She asked.
I could answer if you give me a minute. I wasn't prepared for that one, but I
don't know. I'm just
so Jill, just 1 second. While Doreen is looking that up, I just want to say that to everyone on that when Doreen is finished in a few minutes, we are going to have an open discussion about some other kinds of things, some other ideas, and besides going virtual. And I do want to have that discussion. I know a lot of you have questions about other kinds of things, so I'm going to let Doreen.
Let me look at some of these and see if they're really
right. And the other thing I did want, how large is Doreen's synagogue? I think they have 1,000 members, right, Doreen?
No. We're about 700 now.
Really? You were a little bigger when I was a kid.
Just suburban Philadelphia.
I'm sorry, what? I didn't.
Suburban Philadelphia.
I'm from Philadelphia, so I know from USY, Harzion. I was there.
Yes, we are definitely suburban Philadelphia. I'm sure we can all share the same stories, what we were and what we are.
So your annual revenue, did you look it up?
It looks like it's about 75,000.
Okay.
Down this year. I'm just looking at my actual report. Okay. I just handed in for the accountants. That's down.
So I would like you very much to share with the group how you sold wine for the holidays.
Well,
because I happen to know firsthand that
yes, I know you do. I know you do.
And you sold them all.
Well, we did, but why did we? Because our shop was closed. We had no Pesach sales. Our wine, and if there are other people on here from the state of Pennsylvania, your experiences are probably different. We had some very, very aggressive people in our congregation who felt that we should not be selling wine in the gift shop, and actually forced us at one point to get a provisional state liquor license, which only allowed us to sell wine, I think it's about 4 or 5 days a year. So of course we made those days around Rosh Hashanah and Pesach. that changed our business also, because when people came in to buy wine, they bought other things as well. And that took that part of our business. Anyway, that being said, we had a lot of wine for Passover. And where was it going? It wasn't going anywhere. We couldn't sell it. We couldn't get into the shop. I'm sure, like I said, all of your experiences are very similar. And we were stuck with inventory. So what do? Well, if you have a friend like Debbie has, who is a friend of mine also, you have a little discussion and say, what do we do with the wine? And we sold all of our wine for $10 a bottle. With the Manischewitz, we kept it, I think, $8 a bottle. Everything else was $10 a bottle. They got some fabulous bargains, and we cleared out our inventory and brought in money. It was great because that wine was just sitting there.
And you had somebody with a table in the foyer. And
a table in the foyer, so they didn't have to come into the synagogue. They had the doors open. It was a little warmer than it is right now. That only means anything for those of us in the Northeast, so it's getting a little colder. But they had the foyer doors open, and they had a table set up, so nobody got past that table. And they did everything socially distanced, gloves, masks, whatever. And
they drove up to the door, came in one at a time, bought their wine, and left.
And we were
and you sold hundreds of bottles of wine that way.
We did. I mean, we sold about $1,500 of wine. That's a lot of wine. So, and we were very happy to have it go. And it was very nice, Debbie, because your good friend Lynn, who is the president of our sisterhood and a fabulous president she is, and a good friend too. Lynn thought that because one of our sisterhood members, and I'm sure none of you have members like this, said, well, I don't know if the wine is going to taste good because it was in the closet and maybe it's not, hermetically sealed in the closet and climate control and whatever. So Lynn took home a few bottles and tried them. And lo and behold, the wine was fine. And anyway, we were good to go and we sold them.
Okay. So you have to be creative and you have to figure it out. And she did that and you did that. And it was a great success right before Rosh Hashanah. And
it was great.
So Jill, are there any other questions? Because I was
trying to look and see if there's
I'd like to move this to the next
part. Yeah, I know. Some of these are repeats. I don't think there's anything that's other than somebody asked about compensation for the synagogue. I don't know why it would be any different than the normal donations that whatever your agreement with your synagogue is. Oh, is there a way to limit your sales just to your members? Somebody asked.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure there is. I mean, the fact that if you will just indulge me for a minute, I will show you what our website looks like, and I'm not going to give you
tour. And Doreen, they want to know what your website is, so maybe you could put that in the chat after you're done, okay?
Absolutely. So let me just show you what our website looks like. And this, again, is part of, because you will see these other categories about Har Zion Temple, about join, praying, learning, connecting, calendar, and other pertinent information. But this is the gift shop page. So it's actually at the top of the screen, harziontemple.org//one-word gift shop. And that's the way you get into it. But I'm just going to show you this very clearly. We actually have a lot less merchandise than this now. It looks like we're overcrowded. What I think about having a landing page, or what we call a landing page, or a home page for the gift shop, was important for us, is that we felt that it was important to know what the mission of the gift shop is. And, all of us on this call can say, yeah, sure, we know what the mission of the gift shop is, and we support sisterhood, supports the synagogue. Great. Again, we're always trying to educate. And because we have a preschool, because we have a lot of young parents, it's always a matter of educating them. So, and driving them into the shop to understand that what we do there is really for their synagogue. Again, we couldn't make this as personal as we wanted. As you can see, I have, even though our hours are suspended, what you can do, so you can call. And by the way, that will, that I think is pretty specific to people, and they do call. And here is the support of the gift shop, helps the sisterhood and the synagogue to provide our congregants with quality education, excellent programming, special events, and community outreach. Let them know that their purchases are appreciated and that they are going to help their sisterhood and in turn their synagogue. That's what all of our missions are. The gift shop mission is for sisterhood, and sisterhood is for the synagogue. And anyway, what I just wanted to show you briefly, that when you enter your items in, when you do your descriptions, that will help people find what they're looking for. So you can see that there are categories here for children, and that's what takes time in your description, because you need to be specific about what these things are so that people who are looking at the site can access it. You know, Judaica is pretty wide reaching, but you can put anything in there that applies, which is going to be a lot of the things that you have. We also have this running at the bottom, which are some of our collections that we have that appeals to people. And I'm just going to show you one more thing, because I'm not going to bore you to tears, but do that. Not as easily as I thought. Okay, here, search the shop. You can search products. So if you wanted to put in candlesticks, you will find candlesticks, and you will find that because in the description of your item, it will show you candlesticks. So these are, you know, wide variety of candlesticks. And again, you'll see these pictures were all taken differently, which is not the way we started. Product categories. Also, this is really important when you do the description. This will show you, it's not just children's gifts, it's children's gifts, apparel, toys, giftware, home accessories, oven to tableware, personal gifts, wedding gifts, holidays, Hanukkah, Passover, Rosh Hashanah, Judaica. It just, the list is endless. And that all has to do with your descriptions. The more descriptive you are, excuse me, the more descriptive you are, the more your customer will be able to find exactly what they're looking for. And it takes time to do that, but don't let that scare you. A lot of us are spending more time at home now than ever, and you might have time to and again, don't try to put 500 pieces on there. It's not necessary. Start smaller and build, and you can do it. And I don't know how, by the way, you limit it to, that was a question, and I didn't really answer that, how you limit that to just your congregants. I guess if you do it where you don't take credit cards and you're not going to do, well, you would still probably ship for your congregants, but not for others, then leave out the credit card piece and make it an in-house site. That's it. See, but because we have here, for example, Michael Aram, Black Orchid candlesticks, I can tell you the shopper who is savvy, and that's a lot of people across this country, they want the Michael Aram Black Orchid candlesticks. They're going to put that into Google and they're going to come to our site. But we want that. If you don't want that, that's different. But we want that. So we're happy with that. And I'm not going to bore you with any more. I could show you the guts of this site and everything else, but I think you've had enough of me.
So Doreen, if you could put in again, your name and your number, your email into the chat, and also the site. So if anyone has
Happy to do it. Happy to do it.
And thank you so much for everything that you did and everything you do for sisterhood and for your gift shop and your synagogue and your community. Doreen, let me tell you about Doreen. She does 5,000 things in 24 hours. You've never seen a volunteer like Doreen. She's amazing. And she comes from wonderful stock. Her mother is a lovely woman and has trained her, educated her, and reared her the same way. We love your mom, Ruthie.
Thank you.
So, thank you, Doreen, for everything you do.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for...
So, I would like to stay on a little bit longer. I know that other people wanted to share some ideas about how to get into your gift shop, the things you can do. I know Doreen mentioned the parking lot and had a sort of negative comment about the parking lot, but I know that there are some sisterhoods that are bringing their wares out into the parking lot, putting them on tables and having people come one at a time, you know, spatially distant and socially distant, spatially distant, and trying to sell their things for Hanukkah that way. So I don't know how to unmute 140 people, but if one of you at a time could unmute or wait your turn, and maybe if you had suggestions to share with the rest, that would be great. Just if you unmute and you speak, please just be,
if the people raise their hand and we can call it, you can call on them, Debbie.
Say it again, Jill.
Raise their hand and
very good. could do that. Okay, so I see Ronnie Hellman. Would you like to unmute?
I think I am. You good? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I am from Beth Shalom in Elkins Park, not far from Har Zion. One thing that Doreen mentioned, her inventory. I know at one time we were both running the same store software. I don't know if she's still running it now or not, but I have been on this software for many, probably 10 years, and I love it. Highly recommend it. It is by a company called Certek, C-E-R-T-E-K. Their particular program is called Artisan, A-R-T-I-S-A-N. It is wonderful software for people to use. Frankly, I can't imagine looking at having a website without having your inventory already computerized. I feel like the way Doreen mentioned, you run an inventory report and you have to keep your website, accurate. So you have to start somewhere. And I started first with computerizing the inventory. This Artisan software runs the store. It maintains customer accounts. It runs the store, including your inventory. It's a great product.
Maybe you want to put that information into the chat also, so that everybody has that.
Hey, share.
And thank you, Ronnie, because that is the program that we use.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
There is my brain. Thank you.
It's not broken. Don't. Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you. Thank you.
There is a new version that I have not even gone to because, like many of you, my volunteers would be resistant to learning something that just looks different. I'm sure their new version is even better than what I'm running. I'm running the old version. Maybe
someone is asking if it's compatible with QuickBooks.
QuickBooks, yeah.
Technically it is, but I do use QuickBooks. I don't interface them. There's very little reason to use QuickBooks, but there's enough that I use it, but I do not take advantage of the interface because I rely 90% of my information comes from Certek.
Gotcha. I agree.
I agree. But the other piece of information I wanted to share that Doreen didn't touch on, for photography purposes, taking pictures, I found a site called Pixie, P as in picture, I-X-C as in computer. Pixie will take any picture that you take. I often take them with my phone. You upload it to Pixie. What they do, I opt to have all white background. They send it back to me in 24 hours with a white background. They remove everything. They touch up the lighting a little bit if necessary. It's very reasonably priced. Great site. Check it out. Pixie.
Great.
That's it.
Ronnie, somebody asked you again. Can you spell that website?
P as in Peter. I. X as in X-ray. C as in computer.
Oh, cute. Okay.
And you're going to put all that in the chat for us, correct?
I can do that.
Thank you, Ronnie. Okay.
Thank you.
Jill, you see any hands up?
I know Ella Bender had her hand up earlier, but
Ella Bender.
Wherever she, I don't know.
I was just wondering if there's anybody that has a very small congregation and therefore a small Judaica shop. We are under 100 families and my Judaica shop is 1 6-foot window.
So are you wondering, Ella, how to sell everything?
I'm just wondering, we should just go on our synagogue website and put things on the synagogue website rather than getting into, something that is for more families, more inventory, etc.
That is the same with our synagogue. And actually we have the same inventory that we've had for probably the last 15 to 20 years. We've not been able to really sell anything.
Clearance it and clear out.
Just get your
We tried that at 50% off and still had a hard time selling everything. It's not nice stuff, I think.
Does anyone have a suggestion for Ada for that?
We donated a lot of our stuff.
Board meeting and try to ask everyone to pitch in and buy it, and take the money and buy new merchandise.
I would just say, take whatever people want to offer for things within reason. Just take whatever you can get.
Stella Ann.
Yeah,
Stella
you might have another sisterhood that would like to purchase some of those items from you and sell them in their gift shop. If they have room, they might be willing to clear it out for you.
It's a great idea.
That's what happened to me at once. The Reform Synagogue in town, it was a small town, only had a case, and they weren't doing well because we had a much larger gift shop, and they sold me out with their. I didn't take it all, but I went over at their, at cost, but I didn't have to pay shipping, of course. So I mean, I ended up with a lot of extra merchandise that I could sell. That I didn't have to, I saved the shipping part of it. So it does happen.
So Ada, there's two suggestions for you. At a show board meeting, just ask everyone to give a donation and take an item. And the second one is to call a local synagogue, take pictures and send them and say, do you want them? So there you go. Someone asked me about a Women's League gift exchange. And honestly, if someone in this group would volunteer to do it, I'd be happy to have it. Private chat me, call me, text me, and you can even call me in the middle of the night if you're volunteering.
Whoa.
Okay, Jill, do you see any other hands up?
Any more hands? Anybody else? I keep going through. I don't see any. Is there any other?
Can I share something?
Reba. There's a Reba.
You had asked about Hanukkah, and one of the things, first of all, I'm allowed to go into our synagogue, and I go in and I will make an appointment with somebody. So that if anybody calls the synagogue, they then give me the information. I contact the person, and I can go in and I meet with them, and I'm able to make sales, which is great. But what I'm doing for Hanukkah is, because I can't have a number of people come in, I have gotten 2 carts, and I am putting Hanukkah items, the candles, etc., on the carts. I have sent out flyers through the preschool and the Hebrew school. So beginning next Sunday morning through Hanukkah, on Sunday mornings for religious school, and then one day during the week for the preschool, I will be out there at Carpool Line. I have QuickBooks. I have the program where you can put it into your phone. I bought the extension for that, and I can just run off charges. And I'm hoping that's going to be a help.
Okay. Thank you, Reva.
Can I add something?
Sure.
Sorry. This is Brandy Lerner from Tiferet Bet Israel. Ronnie Hellman, just for purposes, my parents are Sue and Ron Gordon. I'm sure they would say hi if they knew we were both on this call.
Where are you from, Brandy?
TBI in Bluebell, okay. PA, yeah. Montgomery County. So we actually went online because, sorry, Bluebell. We went online mostly because of the shutdown. We had been thinking about doing it for a while, and this kind of forced us. We ended up with we did Shopify for our website, and we purchased the material. I think all in all, we spent like $1,000, and we got a new register and all of that stuff. I have most of the gift shop in my house right now. I emptied it out over the summer and have been inventorying and adding things with a few other members of Women's League. And we realized we had a lot of stuff, and we were actually able to move things that had been sitting in the gift shop for a really long time that people didn't see. But once it was suddenly online, it was there. And so they saw it. And something else we did a Facebook sale for, I think it was 2 days or 3 days. And we posted a bunch of merchandise that we wanted to move at highly discounted prices. And it was like a flash sale. And we sold some, and that was open to the whole, it wasn't just our synagogue. You could invite other friends and family to the Facebook event, and that sold a lot of merchandise. And we're doing a big Black Friday sale on, the week leading up to Black Friday, a pre-Hanukkah sale to, again, move merchandise. And it seemed we did a 3-day sale leading up to the high holidays and did more sales in 3 days than we did in 6 months.
How did you do that in terms of social distancing and having people coming in and out?
It's all been online. 100% through Shopify, which is what we're doing all of our inventory through as well. So we put everything into the Shopify account, and we can print out reports and do P&Ls and everything. It's been amazing.
Could you tell us the website for this and how to spell it?
Sure, I'll put it into the chat, and I will put a link to our website just so you can see a different layout of another. And there's a link on TBI's website for it and through our social media. But I will put, so it's Shopify is, and all of the pictures they're amateur shots. So Shopify is who we did the account through, and then I will also add TBI's gift shop site just so you can see another layout other than Harzion's. Ours is not as professional looking, but it's what the volunteers were able to get done. So we're happy with it. And we you know what, it was a great process for us. We realized we have about 4,000 different items in our inventory in doing this, which was great.
Thank you, Brandy.
Thank
you so much. So many of you don't have the computer capability or the larger congregations or the gift shop that looks like Bloomingdale's. And so I know many of you want to hear about other ideas to sell. Does anyone else have any other ideas for smaller congregations or congregations that aren't going to use Shopify and Surtech and any other ideas? Betty Marks, yes.
You know, I took over our gift shop around 5 years ago. There were several pieces of 14 karat gold little necklaces that were in the gift shop, and I showed them. I had some sales, and I
under $111.
I did really nothing with the congregation. So the other day, I decided to go to a jeweler, and I took the pieces. I had about 15 pieces of 14 karat gold charms, all different kinds, and they were really pretty. And why they didn't sell, I just don't know. But I told him that I was from our synagogue, and he looked at all of them. And I not only, he bought, I sold him all those items, and I not only got my selling price that if you would have come into the gift shop and bought it, but because 14 karat gold is gotten so much more expensive, I was able to get the price of those selling now. So I really did really well with them, and I have, quite a bit of money to be able to buy other merchandise in the store that I hope will sell.
So Betty, that was a very creative use of, merchandise that didn't sell. Very creative.
And I was really happy. And when I told the president of our synagogue, sisterhood that I did this, they were very happy, and we'll use the money to help us maybe get a website, and it'll pay for some of the, that I want to, purchase new.
Very nice. Very nice. Thanks for sharing that story.
Next, Renee Federer had been asked.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I'm Renee Feder from Congregation Tifereth Israel in Ben Salem. And I'm fairly new to the congregation through J-Date. I remarried 2 years ago. My husband's yelling. And anyway, you probably know Sandy Berenbaum. She's a very good friend of mine. She's very active in Women's League. But anyway, over the summer, I took over the gift shop a year ago, and we sold a lot of the merchandise to other synagogues. So what we have now is fairly new merchandise, and some of the old merchandise looks new now because it's either been polished or we've displayed it differently. But over the summer, what we did was we had 4 picnics. We brought our own lunch. We had masks. We sat 10 feet apart. Like 25 women came. We have a big piece of property on the side. And whoever wanted to come into the gift shop told me beforehand, and we did it one at a time. I think I sold 3 talit one day, and so we were able to do it that way. The other thing is we're a small synagogue. I think we have 130 families. So through calling people up and saying, how are you doing today? And checking in on people who are so happy to hear from somebody, gee, I've been looking for a mezuzah or, you know, so we've been able to keep sales. I said, you know, the building's closed, the gift shop is not, you know, technically we're here for you. You know, I can go in and get it. We don't have a website, and I'm really the only person doing it right now. So it would be a little hard to get to the level of some of the larger synagogues, although I would love to. My background is retail. I was with Nordstrom for 20 years, so it's in my blood. But I think reaching out to your members on a personal basis also will bring them in. It's worked for us. So
that, Sandy, Renee, that's a great suggestion. Wonderful suggestion to make some phone calls. Yeah, okay. I think I interrupted you, Jill, and I think Edith.
No, that's fine. No, it's fine. Edith is next. Yeah, yes. Renee had her hand up for a while, I noticed, so.
Okay. I'm Edie Myers from Owings Mills, Maryland, Beth Israel. We have a medium-sized congregation, and we've been hoping to, I hate to say get rid of, but to delete our inventory. And we've been kicking around the idea, I don't know that we will actually do it, but for an auction, either on Zoom, either at a general meeting or just open it up to the whole congregation, although anybody in the congregation could certainly join our meeting. And I was wondering if anybody has done that.
Chat the answers to that, everybody.
Suzanne had her hand up.
I had a different, I didn't do an auction, but I do have something else to ask Debbie.
Thunder.
Okay. So my husband, through one of his trade associations, the trade association has negotiated discounted shipping rates from UPS and FedEx. And I was wondering whether Women's League could do the same so that all of the Women's League's Judaica shops could get discounted shipping through that sort of agreement.
So my first answer is I will check, and my second answer is probably not, and I'll tell you why. Because we are a tax-free organization, and you
want cookie? Want some water?
Anne, can you please mute?
We're a tax-free organization, and each sisterhood is an affiliate on its own right as a part of the synagogue. So you are a tax-free part of your synagogue. You don't belong to Women's League. You're an independent affiliate. So we wouldn't be able to use, you wouldn't be able to use our tax number.
But you don't, like, his trade organization, he uses his own, wait, he's going to come explain it to you. Come here.
Okay, and I'm taking notes because I am going to check on this, Suzanne.
Okay.
Hi. This is
Mark.
We love our husband volunteers, I just want to say.
Hi. The trade association is independent. There also happen to be a nonprofit. And all they're doing is they've negotiated the discount percentages, and then we use their link when it's all said and done to go to UPS. We sign up our own accounts. We have our own accounts in our own right. And we're just part of their, if you want to call it bulk buying. It's no different than getting discount bulk buys at Office Depot or something like that. But they have a whole... Is
it just with UPS, or is it with United States Postal Service or anybody
else? No,
it's
not. It's through this trade association. I have UPS. Through a different one, I have FedEx. USPS. There is.
Okay, I'm going to check on that, and I am definitely going to check on it and get back. Okay, it may take a little while, and I will ask Etta to put it into the Google group when I get the results. Okay, I'm happy to do that. Okay, Jill, who's next?
Michelle.
Yeah, hi, I'm Michelle Hames, Plainview Jewish Center, Plainview, New York, Long Island. I put up 2 questions in the chat. I'll do the second one first. We have amazing savings, several CVS's ShopRite. They sell the same Right Light and Israel giftware merchandise that I try to sell. How an amazing savings makes all their own stuff in China. So I'm really trying to focus on the better quality stuff. So my first question was, what are some of the better vendors that you use to you know, to bring people into the gift shop?
Doreen can probably answer that. Where are you, Doreen?
I can answer.
Okay.
I'm here. Sorry.
Doreen,
I put something in the chat. Go ahead. I'm sorry. About different vendors that we use?
Better ones.
Better quality vendors.
Are you talking about just for Judaica?
No, and houseware, house gifts, you know, that children's, that kind of stuff.
Right. I could get you, certainly I can get you some names, and I'm happy to share the vendors information with you. You know,
okay.
Our most popular is Michael Aram. No question about that.
Also, Michelle, I don't know if you've ever seen through the listserv, but it's been, you know, Etta has put it on multiple times.
I'm on a listserv all the time. Yes, yeah, I have.
There's a whole list of website of
yes.
vendors and basically what they handle, and so you're aware of that.
Yes,
okay.
I have that. Yes, I just was curious if there was anything new during this pandemic. You know, the merchandise that stood out. You know,
not for us. Not for us.
There's a question about, and Jill, about Amazon. How do you compete with Amazon's prices?
Call Jeff Bezos. I don't know about competing necessarily. Yeah. I will tell you that people, again, I'm sure you can all share this, the same experience. There are people that just want to buy from a synagogue gift shop. They'd rather do that than buy. We can't compete with free shipping. You know, you just can't. You know, there's just no way that we could afford to do that. I think price-wise, we are competitive. We do discount. I think we are competitive, but we can't become.
So at this point, does it make sense for sisterhood chairs to write an article to put in your synagogue bulletin to say, as somebody said before, you know, the synagogue's closed, but the gift shop's open. We're here.
Absolutely.
Please help support us so that we can stay in business. And maybe that's what you need to do, is appeal to your synagogue members and tell them that you are there and you're trying to stay afloat, because, you know,
yes.
when everything's better, they're going to want to come to you, and you need them now, not in a year from now. So I would suggest that all of you do that. You make a pitch, put it in your synagogue bulletin, you know, tell your rabbi to say something from the Bima if it's appropriate. You tell your sisterhood members whenever you have a Zoom meeting and you have 30, 40, 50 on, tell them that you're really trying to stay afloat and you need their help to support them. So, okay. Jill, who's next?
There's a couple questions, I guess, that came in. So, I guess it's for you, Doreen. Can you sell Avram on your website? And actually, and it says you sell Nembe.
Nambe.
Yeah.
That's okay. Do we sell Nambe? I think there was. I'm sorry, Joe. You were the one doing.
The first one was, can you sell Avram stuff on the website? Michael Avram.
Not discounted.
Yeah, you can.
There's a question that says they thought you had to sign something saying you wouldn't sell online.
We never signed. I have no signature anything. Absolutely not.
You just can't discount.
Yeah,
we do. Bloomingdale's does. I can't.
I've gotten things half off at stores, so.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't. I mean, I hear you, but that's not been our experience at all. And Michael Aram knows exactly what we do. So.
Do you advertise or pay Google for your site to pop up?
We do not, but that again would be up to the web designer. I can tell you that, and that again, it goes back to the descriptions. When you use very good descriptions with the name of the vendor, and of course you're going to put the prices in, but there's a way for Google to recognize actually your site, and I don't know how to do that. Our web designer did that, but we didn't pay for that. No.
You can pay to be one of the first sites that pops up. So
right. I have to tell you, I know that we are, but I know that we did not pay for that. So maybe that was included in what the web designer did for us, but we'd never.
It also has to do with how many hits you have. And if you've had a lot of hits, you move up in the list.
Right. That's true too.
Yeah.
You're right. And I'm sorry, somebody asked if Nambe sells. Jill, did you see that question?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
About Nambe. And they sell to us at wholesale.
I was gonna say, I've bought wholesale.
Yeah, it's wholesale.
Okay, Jill, who's next?
Anybody else? I'm going through quickly. Any other hands? Nope, not seeing anybody. Speak up if you keep going through all the screens.
Yeah, please feel free to unmute and ask. Regina.
Yes. Somebody asked about where to get the list of vendors.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Okay. If you are on the the Women's League gift shop website,
Judaica shop,
the listserv.
Yeah, the listserv that has been sent out, and I'm sure Etta would be glad to send it out again
multiple times. Yes.
Right. Yep, we can do that. Etta, I know you can hear us, so we need that on there on the listserv one more time. Okay. Anybody else? Oh, I just saw my friend Connie Katz. Hi, Connie.
Any other hands? I'm looking through. I keep going.
Debbie.
Didn't know you were here, Connie.
Okay. J Mark 3, whoever. Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to find out for Doreen, how much did it cost for the photographer who took all the pictures of the different items? Was that must have been more than the $1,000 or $1,100 for the original website?
Doreen.
Yeah.
Talking to myself. So sorry. The photographer charged us, it was about $1,000, but there were 500 items at the time, if not more. And not only did she take a picture of the item, then she took a separate picture right after that, or right before it, I don't remember, with our, label with the price tag, because how would I ever know? You can't even imagine like getting all these photographs and them they're useless if you don't know, the code. We use a code, from products. And of course you need to know the price, and you can't even, and then I had volunteers go through every picture and write descriptions on every item. Well, I would not say do 500 at a time, but her price really was reasonable considering the amount of items. And like I said, we were really ambitious. What did we know?
Doreen, there's a question about will Nambe sell to you wholesale, I think.
I'm asking one of my VPs that. I don't know. I mean, they do sell to us wholesale, but I don't know.
They want to know if there's a certain amount, like I guess.
I know. I'll have to answer that. I'll have to answer that on the listserv.
Okay, yeah. Was that like, is there a minimum? Like
I don't know.
Minimums and stuff.
Right. I don't know, so I don't want to give you false information.
Okay, there are some messages in the chat saying, thank you so much. This has been wonderful. That's what we hoped. We hoped that this would really be, informative, and that you'd be able to share. And once Etta gets her audio back to her computer, we're hoping to do this again in a few months, maybe before Passover, so that we can share what we've learned from, holiday, Hanukkah. So anybody have any last words? Anything you want to offer?
Suzanne had her hand up.
So you can also, not for the things you already have in your Judaica shop, but as you're ordering new things, you can ask your vendor to send you the professional picture that they have for their catalogs. And use that picture instead of having to take your own new pictures.
Wow, that's a great idea.
Thank you, Suzanne. I am so sorry. I forgot that. And you are 100% right. In fact, you don't even have to ask them. Go on their website. When we just got in new merchandise from Mud Pie and also Michael Aram, go on their website, and the pictures generally are on there. Otherwise, they'll send them to you. And then you save yourself a whole lot of money.
Very nice.
Great, Suzanne. That was perfect. Thank you.
Okay. I think, Susan, do you have your hand up?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Doreen, question.
Yes.
What do you value your inventory at to have such fantastic sales?
$10 million.
Yeah. A little bit less than that, Deb, but yeah, it's, I'm happy to share it. I honestly don't know off the top of my head, but when I get an inventory report, I can always look. It's a lot. It's a lot, but it's built over the years. It's built up over many years. These are not purchases that you make all at one time. As some of you said, you have merchandise there for 15 years. I guarantee you we do too. Builds up over time. Probably more than we would like. We would like to really move out a lot of it, but
don't we all?
I know, we're all trying to keep our head above water.
Anything else? Any questions?
I don't know. J Mark 3. I don't know. That's what it says. She has her hands up.
Maureen, what percentage of your sales is over the internet, over your website? We're a small congregation. I think we're now like 240 members, and it's very small. But I do well in sales with our congregation, which I'm really happy about. But I'm kind of uneasy about going online. What percentage are you doing approximately?
Well, my answer would have been different 8 months ago because I would say to you that the percentage of online sales was, I would say maybe 10, 15%, if that. Not that many. It's great. It's fun and sending things.
But what it's great to have it warrants you to have it, right?
I'm sorry. Say again. I'm sorry.
What it costs you to have the website in comparison to what your sales are has been okay.
Absolutely. But like I said earlier, we learned a lot along the way. Would I spend $1,000 now for a photographer? No, I wouldn't. But I did then. I still would pay for the professional to set up the framework of the website because, and of course, I'm biased. I like the way ours looks, and we paid for that. So, more than made up for it. No question about it. And so the question, how much of our sales come from the internet now? A lot. I mean, I've even chatted tonight privately about things that people saw on our website. If I didn't have that website, you wouldn't know that I had them. So during normal times when we're all sitting, I wouldn't say we're all sitting fat, dumb, and happy because I don't think that's been the case for years. Fat, maybe that's the COVID-19. Thank you, but
not happy.
But not happy. But seriously, in the last 8 months, and the first 3 months of those 8 months, 3-4 months, we weren't doing anything. Wouldn't matter if you were online. Wouldn't matter what I was doing. I wasn't allowed near the synagogue. I couldn't go into the shop. I couldn't do anything. So the online presence is lovely, but we couldn't do anything with it. Now we can. So, yeah. And
in the event that anybody cares, Amy Coney Barrett was just
I saw
voted in.
Just confirmed, yeah. Okay.
Yippee.
Okay, Joanne.
But anyway, but let's be realistic, ladies. The next 6 months, the next 8 months, the next year are not going to look a whole lot different than what it looks now.
Doreen, can you share your email again in the chat, please?
I'll do it again. Sure.
Okay, and I think Joanne had a question.
Yeah. It's Joanne, me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Looks like I'm not muted. I just want to know, how can I join onto the listserv? I do the gift shop at B'nai Tzedek in Potomac, Maryland, and I would love to see some new vendors since I'm not going to New York to shop.
Etta, did they send the email to you? Send the email to you. I get that.
They don't send the email to
Lois
me.
Silverman.
Lois Silverman. Move back.
Joanne, I'll put it into the
Fialco at AOL.com.
No, not AOL.
Lois Silverman, I guess.
No, she's a Women's League address.
Yeah.
WLCJ.
Yeah. L Silverman. So if you are not on the listserv and you'd like to get on the gift shop listserv, the Judaica shop listserv, you write to Lois, L Silverman at WLCJ.org. And Lois will check to make sure that you are a Women's League member in good standing.
Yeah,
that's she will. I know. I'm just saying. If you are, then she will get you on the listserv. Okay. And so if you are not on the listserv, it's very valuable. You would want to be on all kinds of information. And again, Jill's putting it into the chat. So,
okay, Debbie, I am.
Okay, so I have to say that when we got on, someone said to me at 6:30, so how long is this going to last? And I said, oh, an hour and a half. And
that's about right.
with us, and Jill and Doreen and I are happy and Etta are happy to stay on if you'd like to continue, but I don't want anyone to feel that they're going to miss any specific information. But we are, whoops, sorry about that. Here, if you'd like to continue and if you want to share anything, and if you
I have a question. May I ask my question?
Sure, yes.
Yeah. I was misled to think that the meeting was starting at 7. So I missed half an hour of it. Is there any way I can really check your recording, and how could I do that?
You can access the recording by going to the Women's League website.
Yes.
And right on the front page, the recording will be there. What time did you get on, Serene?
At 7.
We started at 6:45.
Yeah, okay, but I guess I missed the beginning where there were the website explanation, or how to establish the website.
Okay, it's on the recording, and we started at 6:45.
Okay.
By the time we got started, it was more like 6:50.
Oh, okay. Now, was the question how to judge if it's worth going and go ahead with the planning of a website discussed?
It was not. Doreen, would you like to address that?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question? I was distracted by it.
Yeah, how do I judge if it is worth going ahead and having a website? Because even though we have about a little bit less than 300 family, mostly I sell for bar and bat mitzvah and here and there few things. So is it really worth going and establishing a website? I mean, like, how do I judge? Is there not a formula, but is there a hunch or an advice?
Well, honestly, it's not. And these were some of the questions that, if you see the recording, these are the questions that I was putting up there so that people could ask themselves. And part of it has to do with budget. How much did you want to spend? That isn't even the most significant piece of this. It's also how much time do you want to spend putting together the website. It takes time. I'm not saying it's not worth it, but I couldn't put a dollar amount on that.
Wow.
It is the amount, it's the amount of time, the maintenance of the site. It's not just about how much does it cost for it to get up on the web, because I think you can do that. There are other ways to do it that were less expensive than the way we did it. Mm-hmm. And like I said, you live and learn, and that's okay. And it's okay for us because we've been doing this for a few years. So of course we've learned lessons along the way, but I can't tell you whether, I don't know the congregation, it's the size of, or the amount of the business that you do. And again, because of, the pandemic, we're all doing far less business. If you think you were doing less business before, you're doing even less now. So yeah. I think in that sense, it's worth it. Also, you don't want people to forget that you have a gift shop. There are some synagogues who have closed their gift shops. If you're still there and you're still running, you want people to know that. And having the online presence helps in that way. But again, you have somebody to commit the time, not just the money, but the time.
It's true because, one element, as you said, it's the time. I can give my time, but I can't really secure that there would be people taking it over. So that's why it's dangerous to spend all this money, and then within a few years, if I can't find anybody to help me out, that it would go for nothing. So
I hear you. I hear you. I do.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. As I said, we're here if you'd like to stay. If anybody else has any other comments, anything you want to share, anything you want to discuss. I know that you're all waiting for me to find out the answer to Suzanne's question about getting a discounted rate, and I'll do my best and we'll try to see what we can do, certainly. So, okay. Again, I want to thank Doreen and Jill and Etta in her silence. We love you, Etta, for all you do to manage.
Yes, Etta.
Reserve.
That's amazing.
Etta really, she has done it for many years, and she really puts herself out there and does a wonderful job. And so, Etta, we thank you. We're sorry that it didn't work out for you tonight. We know you were with us in spirit. Etta's picture is there. I don't know if I can spotlight. Where are you? There she is. I'm gonna. Where is that? In spotlight. Here we go. This is Etta. Etta, wave. Wave.
There's Etta. Hi, Etta.
Etta has done a lot of work over the years for Women's League's Judaica shops, and we thank her for all she's done.
She's amazing.
Amazing is right. Amazing is a great word, Jill. And we want to thank Jill and Doreen for all the work they put into tonight's workshop. And, you know, be in touch, join the listserv. Doreen gave you her email, Etta's email, and Etta is, yes, from Florida. Yes. Etta, hold it up. Go ahead.
She's from Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah.
She's got a message for us. There we go. My sister would be impressed you kept me
quiet.
So quiet.
Okay. Thank you, Etta. Thanks for all you do. Okay. And good night, everyone. And I do want to say that that it's amazing to me that we had 140 women on, and thank you for all you do, you know, to make sure that your gift shops are working and that you support your sisterhoods, your women's leagues, your synagogues. It's amazing. And I know that all of you love it, you know, from the bottom of your heart. This is what you really want to do. So we thank you for everything.
Thank you, Debbie. And thank you again, Jill. You did a masterful job.
Good night, everyone.